See, thank you for the heads up on that one. Apparently I was running no sound. We know if that's better now. Pretty please. So we're doing field 23?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I gotta go get an auger now.
There we go. Oops. Oh dear. Why is my combine not moving?
I bought a Farm King, but I don't know. Maybe it didn't pop in. I see it was set to, somebody had hired a helper.
Yeah, I accidentally hired a helper, pressed the wrong button. I don't know if that's messing me up. But I am stuck. Let's try.
Yeah, once again, Spectre's the only one working on this map.
I am too working.
I'm trying to work.
I gotta get an
There we
auger
go.
set up. Rover's
Whoa!
trying to chase me down.
I'm gonna find a way into this field.
It's on the south side.
So sorry, gotcha. Actually, that looks like it might be an entrance right there.
I parked one harvester right by one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So how many bales did you get over there on the Crawford?
Let's see. Well, yesterday we ended up getting 52, and then today we cut another 21, something like that. There's more to go.
So this auger I bought spawned in with like 3 feet between the hitch and the back fence at the store.
Just push it around.
I tried that, and half of it doesn't have a collision. So I just drove right through it. Alright, we got her now. So did I hear you say that Crawford was marked as testing now?
Yes, it is. Been marked as testing for 3 days now.
Well, I heard somebody saying that Giants was taking a holiday today.
Really?
Some type of company day.
Okay.
You know, they've been back for 2 weeks, so
Yeah, exactly.
they need a day off. So, you know, I was hearing that basically anything that wasn't out yesterday wasn't going to come out until next week,
Yeah.
and kind of verified that. Well, I didn't really verify that information, but the fact that there weren't any mods released today kind of validated that statement.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess the earliest we would see it would be maybe Monday.
And that's if they don't kick it back to me again. I don't think they will. I mean, I've played the snot out of the map. If they're just in the point where they play the map for 30 minutes, both in single player and in multiplayer, then I think I'm good. But if there's something else that I'm not sure of that they check for, then they may kick it again, right?
Yeah. I mean, was it kicked back before at a stage earlier than it is now, or has it always made it to this stage?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you, because I just got an email one day and all of a sudden, you know, it was under review. I need to change some things. So I don't know what stage it made it to. Now, that being said, I did go through their mod guidelines, and the way it looks is they have, or the way I read it is they have pending, and then they have testing, and in that pending stage, I believe, is where it got kicked back to me.
Okay. Do you see much of that Oakdale farm or Oak Farm or Oak whatever, Oak Field?
No, I can't say that I have.
All right, that's the big Oxygen David map that's got a lot of hype right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I told you, I called them out like you said I should on them being able to sign their names, and I can't. They never did get back to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think lots of people, and I have the impression that that some of it is like, you know, the classic good old boys club.
Yeah. It just, to me, it's kind of frustrating. It's like, it's almost like it makes it hard for people to reach that status that those guys have already got themselves to if they're allowed to do things that other people aren't.
Yeah, you know, it's double standards. It's, well, they can, but I can't. But why can they?
Yeah.
Well, they can because they've got the reputation. Well,
how do I get the reputation if nobody knows what my name is?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that my map is the caliber of their maps. It's not. And I understand that. But still, it's the principle.
Alright, let me get that overloader to you.
Good time. I'm at 99% here.
Well, I'm trying to get an auger set up, and the truck didn't want to cooperate.
Farmer says like spike. There's an idea.
And since you didn't want to overload, I have to go get the overloader that I set up just special for you to get to.
Well,
'Cause I
now,
put a
now
special,
hold on
put
now.
a special tractor on it just for you.
Now hold on now. You said you can either harvest or you can run an overloader. Saw that coming.
You went and stole it. No, it's okay. I thought you stole the header off the track.
No, I didn't do that. I did what you told me to do. Again.
All right. Well, everybody on my stream will get to see the tractor I picked for you to use on the overloader because you're such a Case IH fan.
Oh, shucks.
And then you went and harvest. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm not going to push the issue.
And he's still in a case.
No dear.
All right, so everybody, here's
He's
the tractor
still in the
that I
case,
wanted
right?
to use.
That's true. I am still in the case.
I'm going to put a screenshot of exactly what I set up for you so you can see it since you're not watching my stream. And it's such an awesome tractor. It can even pull this thing.
Would you rather I switch to that, Farmer Klein?
No.
It kind of sounds like you do.
You just check my Discord in about 2 minutes. If you can.
Do you have a GPS set up back there?
Nope. I was just going to do this by hand.
Okay.
Get rid of this little finger, and then when they go to the main field, just...
Yep. Aiden says he dropped a like. Thank you very much, sir. DW says we're back. Indeed we are. Kind of lost track of time there. Almost missed out.
All right, who needs unloading?
Yeah, I just unloaded.
87%.
Nothing stops the Kloss.
Yeah, I did kind of go silent on you there, DW. I was rushing very hard to get myself set up for this stream.
And then after I unload you, I'll go finish setting up that auger.
You might as well unload me too then. Before you go taking off. Donno's not actually with us tonight there, Aiden. He just got done a 36-hour shift in the old big rig, so he's a little tuckered out, I think. You want to copy mine?
I'll just work on the headline.
Okay.
Moo.
What's up?
G'day.
No big image today.
I noticed. Disappointed.
I'm really not. Seems like every time I've been on UMRV, I was doing grass work.
And you should enjoy rubber.
I just I just lost the auger through the map. Oh, now it's back.
DW says, sorry I fell off chat for a bit trying to stack bales. I get how that's concentration intensive, believe me. I did see the pictures there, DW. Looked like a bit of a struggle for you. GTX says not too much concentration RV, you just press the UAL load. That's cheating.
You're gonna have to overload yourself. I'm almost done with this auger.
We got this, bro.
Thankfully, the second time I set it up, it didn't decide to warp through the ground. So did I hear you working on a second map?
I am indeed. You're at home.
Yeah, I was listening to the stream. I don't know if I was talking too much. I was listening to it the other day.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I went ahead and replaced all the buildings, all the FS15 buildings with FS17 buildings. What else did I do? Making it seasons ready, of course. Chop straw, multi-terrain angle. What else? Oh, I'm putting a few industries in. Greenhouses, liquid fertilizer production, seed production. Why is it doing that? What the heck? Oh. There we go. Oats and rye are being installed, all the fun stuff. Put the animals a little bit more centrally located. That was the first map that I really started playing for FS15. I spent hundreds of hours on it, so I really enjoy it.
It's quite a drop off at the end of this field, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
DW says, so when are we going to see this combine on your farm? We got a couple of years till we can afford this one. Couple years yet. Maybe a smaller case.
Alright, I'm gonna go empty this other truck, but you got an empty overloader there.
And 4. Run, Forrest, run!
I'm going as quick as I can. So you're not making like an American edit of the map? You're just kind of leaving it true to form, just modernizing it?
I'm just bringing it up to FS17 standards, more or less.
Bring it forward?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm not trying to make it American or Canadian or anything like that. It will obviously have a bit more of an American feel to it because of the buildings that are being used. They're mostly Goldcrest buildings, right?
Oh, okay. You didn't import any from other
No,
locations.
no.
I might get actually able to start harvesting in a few minutes.
Ooh. No, little rub there.
Thought I had your course copied, but I guess not.
No, I kind of messed mine up. W says, everywhere I went, I was running. Roll. What do you mean, buddy? What do you mean? So where's Mr. Rockhound today?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him for a while. I know he's kind of got the map modding bug again.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, he might be on that.
Yep. Yeah, I get the same way sometimes. I get in my mod mode, I call it, and I just zone in and focus in and drown everything else out. Oh. I see Farmer Klein.
Yeah, I had the International 460 hooked up to the auger, and it didn't want to unload, and everything should have been lined up right. So I'm going to try this tractor instead.
Yeah.
All right, we got that working.
Saw that.
I didn't do nothing.
No, can't blame this one on you.
That was me. It'll buff out though. Don't worry. I don't know who got the worst of that, the harvester or your pretty red truck.
I feel like the header on the harvester would be a little bit more fragile. How you making out with that auger, bud?
I got it working. The when I had the international up there, I couldn't do an F1 menu because my F1 menu was flashing, so I couldn't see that I had to hit the pipe out.
Gotcha. Helpers weren't me this time. somehow I have $1,254 in my bank account.
Me too. He sold the tractor, I think.
I did. I sold the International. It's been nothing but problems.
You hear that? The tractor he wanted you to drive has been nothing but problems.
Go figure.
Actually, he was saving that for Dope Boy, but he didn't make it on, so. Because he knows how much he loves red.
Yeah, he'd have just been peachy pleased with that. DW says, alright, I'm going to sleep, guys. Night. Alright, have a good one, DW. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I don't know if you've probably never had the issue, because I don't know too many people that have had the same issue I've had. But if I have GPS activated in the mods folder, I will from time to time have issues where the F1 help screen will just start flashing, and I'll start getting this Lua error in my log. If I take the if I push F1 and make the F1 menu go away,
yeah,
then the Lua error stops generating. If I cycle to maybe the back implement or the front implement, or I disconnect the implement, the flashing will stop.
Yeah.
It's on in-game equipment or mod equipment. I could have just GPS in the mod folder and it will do it.
Really?
It's not that I got a bad version of GPS, because it will do it in multiplayer environment where everyone has the same version of everything.
And nobody else gets it.
And no one else has ever seen it. Ever.
Neither have I.
So it's something with my specific install or setup, or...
I feel like we're about to have a head-on collision here. Chicken.
Hey, I already got this thing scratched up enough as it is.
But like with the harvester here, it's fine. I don't get any flashing, but I'll randomly get flashing on certain things at certain times.
Yeah.
But it's always tied to if I have GPS activated.
I feel like I'm all by myself over here.
I'm coming. I had to copy a course. So, Cows Go Moo in chat has likened Genetic J to a stray dog.
Oh?
Yeah, Frank was asking if Genetic J was one of the guys playing, and he said no, he just kind of showed up one day and never left. So Cows Go Moo said, we had a stray dog once. It ended up running away. So, what's everyone's thoughts on the expansion 2 thing, the Ropa DLC, I'll call it?
I'm not wasting my money until I see what it's got. As far as I'm concerned, I wasted money on the Platinum DLC and the Big Bud DLC, so we'll see what it's got before I go spending any money.
I already had everything else, so I pre-ordered that one too. All I gotta say is FS19 better be something.
Well, there's no shortage of equipment anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with Rubber Burner. I'm not really. It didn't strike me as anything special. it's
Fact
it's
is, there's
yellow
rope,
horse stuff or yellow existing equipment.
there's Ropa mods out there.
There are two, at least two that I know of.
Yeah, and they're, from my understanding, pretty good too.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna hold the dollars back from the upcoming Ropa DLC.
Now, when that potato DLC comes out, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm eager for that one too, because I always thought that potatoes were a little underrepresented.
Yeah.
I mean, root crops in general are kind of underrepresented because you have two choices. You have a weird pull behind thing that with the potatoes, the topper isn't the same width as the actual harvester itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go from the pull behind thing to this giant self-propelled multi-$100,000.
There's no medium there. Yeah.
Or there's no really small scale.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, pigs don't take very much root crop.
That's true.
Pick the smallest field on the map, put potatoes in it, and you probably have more potatoes than you'll ever use on the map unless you play for thousands of hours.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a once and done deal unless you're seriously into root crop stuff.
Yeah.
Skipping 2.
I was seeing Spectre's beacons on. I'm thinking, there's no way he's full already. I'm only at 30%. And he just left them on.
He lazy. 4 ways too.
It's all about safety. We should congratulate him on acing an exam that he took with no studying.
Ooh.
Instead, he spent the night harvesting with me the day before.
Genius.
I wouldn't go that far. Close, but not that far. Yeah, I think that was the night I upset Doug Sorley, too.
What'd you do to his big M?
Nothing, I just made a comment that I probably shouldn't have made.
Do either of you understand real-life crop prices?
Not
Frank and Chad
particularly.
was wondering what grains that aren't in FS17 pay out in real life, like rice. And I was saying that in general, I think most real pricing in the real world is based on a futures market and not so much on a traditional what's the price for it today, but it's more like what I'll pay today for grain that you'll have in 3 months or something like that.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
I'm running. I'm gonna beat you.
Okay. I won't argue.
Oh, thank you to one. Cows Go Moose says around here, corn is $3.80 a bushel,
But, no, not done yet. Not done yet. Not done yet.
or about 108 per 1,000 liters.
You are free. That didn't work at all.
I saw that. That'll buff out.
Yep.
I guess Klein's gonna make me go drive over there and unload.
No, I'm full. I'll be right back.
What a jerk.
kind of crops would you like to see in 19 that isn't in 17?
Cotton,
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, cotton came to my mind.
rice. Peanuts.
What about like vegetables or other root crops like carrots,
I was gonna say carrots maybe.
cauliflower, weird things like that require special equipment?
Yeah. But then you run into the same thing that you would run into with potatoes, and then they're going to give us a small piece of equipment and a ridiculously big piece of equipment.
Vineyards.
Yeah, like a fruit, like an orchard,
That might be cool. Yep.
tree-based harvesting where you got the shakers.
Yep.
We'll see a lot of the vineyards use like small frame tractors and everything, so you could actually get a lot of equipment for that stuff.
Do we
Like
know
narrow
yet?
frame tractors.
Do we know officially that there is an FS19 yet?
So I was watching Rainbow Dave,
Yep.
and he mentioned basically seeing a French press release that was translated into German, that
Yeah.
he then translated into English, that was talking about 19, and really it was talking more about that 19 was going to look more real to life than 17.
Yep.
It wasn't really talking about anything revolutionary
Okay.
as far as new game engine or anything like that.
Yeah.
Joel says cranberries. Anything with a flooded field would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. I just don't see Farm Sims really stepping up their game to try to create something like that when they don't have anybody else right on their heels right now.
I still like my
I'm gonna
horse's
go.
idea.
I'm gonna go empty this thing. I'll be right back.
Still like my horse's idea.
Horses.
Oh, you want horses as a farm animal?
Now, if you got to do horses as farm animals, then you're going to have clover and alfalfa hay.
That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see different grasses that you had to feed, in different mixes. Like you had a grass that maybe you fed as a TMR mix, and then you had a grass that you fed, or a hay that you would feed special, or maybe you feed. Because it's my understanding that most cows can't eat straight up alfalfa, or it'll do something really wanky to their milk. Or maybe there's like, when we were growing up, we grew alfalfa, we grew Timothy, and then we had just regular grass hay. And then we did, obviously we did straw when we had wheat or barley. But yeah, a different type of a grass would be cool. Llamas. You have llama farms and do llama wool. Around here, they're big into. It's a big chicken turkey industry. And not chicken eggs.
Yeah, here too.
So, but that's kind of that type of an industry isn't really something that would be, I don't think, kid friendly, kid rated.
Yeah.
I thought the eastern shore of Maryland, on the eastern side of the Chesapeake Bay, is the chicken capital of the world.
I don't know. Shenandoah Valley and Virginia can give you a run for your money. There's chicken and turkey plants all over. The town that I work in has a Purdue plant that makes all kinds of pre-cooked goods. So if you live in or around, I guess maybe the east coast of Virginia, or in and around Virginia, West Virginia, and you eat a Purdue pre-cooked product, it probably came out of that plant.
Chicken nuggets.
It probably came out of that plant because we know a guy that works there, and he'll bring us a 20-pound bag of bulk chicken nuggets that he bought at the Purdue store for like $5 or something because it was an overrun or something. We got a turkey plant in a town up from us that takes live turkeys and makes them
makes them
food
formerly live turkeys. Yeah?
Makes them food product. So if you drive through here, you know you don't drive behind a turkey or chicken truck because you're going to get your car splattered with excrement.
Mark DuPont says he wants emu eggs.
I can see his farm avatar being chased around the farmyard by an angry emu, for which he took the eggs from.
Are you close to being able to unload me by any chance, Farmer Klein?
Yes, I'm coming back.
I'm kind of out here in the middle of bumfrig nowhere.
All right, I'll be there in a minute. Do you have your chat to stay up forever or to disappear?
Me?
Yeah.
Disappears after like 30 seconds.
Okay.
What do you have?
Oh, I just got a chat box running finally, and I think it's set to 15 or something.
Oh yeah.
It's where the default was.
If I become Landy Kid big, then I might make it shorter like that. But I figure, my chat's not really that active. I'll leave it up for a few seconds. Well, sometimes it's not active. Sometimes it blows my mind how active it is.
All right, where are you at?
In the middle of bumflip nowhere.
Hey, I've been there once.
So it's Spectre that's running down the crop. Yeah, it's Spectre right now. Okay. So you're on the other side of the field?
Yes.
All right.
I got a headlamp for us. And I filled up.
AK the Hay, which I don't know if that's the alternate persona of AK the Savage or just a wannabe. Where are you at? Oh my gosh, you're way over there. Okay, hold on. He wants to see live auctions for animals.
Yeah, and somebody else was mentioning, I think it was actually DW, he was saying bring back field auctions. I would like to see contracts for field work where you have to bring your own equipment to fulfill a contract for a farmer versus getting paid a ridiculous amount of money to use their equipment.
All seasons takes care of the ridiculous amount of money part.
Yeah, I just avoid the whole contract work altogether because it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I usually do it to lower prices.
Excuse me. Thank you, sir.
All right. we'll be done up there, and we'll be down here shortly.
Mark says more head work and head tools. I'm not arguing with that for the small scale farmer, yeah. My big brother says contracts for field work, great idea. Yeah, well, of course it's a good idea. I came up with it. Andy.
Crop irrigation.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
You know, the not just three fertilizations and you're done, but maybe a crop irrigation, or you need to fertilize in specific stages. You can't be 3 stages of fertilization before you even put crop in the ground.
Andy says, if they don't do it, RB, I will look at doing a contract script for you. Awesome.
I really like the light effects on the game with respect to like dust.
Yeah.
Where the light diffuses in the dust. Because like now that it's twilight, if you turn your beacons on, you can see the light reflecting off the dust that's coming off the top of the grain. Grain auger.
They did do a good job upgrading their lighting system from 15 to 17.
Kalsgumu wants 5 stages of fertilization.
Whew. Breaking the bank on us. Whoops. Keep forgetting that I'm not running gearbox or drive control, and I keep hitting the brake and my harvester just backs up on me.
I know, it's us easy players. We don't use those fancy mods.
I'd really kind of like to have soil mod back, but with a good irrigation system. I've heard rumors of some integration with seasons on that, so who knows?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yep. DW says I'm back. Go figure.
The only thing I hope they integrate on a soil mod is that you don't have to hit just every little bitty patch of the field, you know. It doesn't ruin it if you don't get every piece covered with N or PK or whatever.
I personally, if they go that route, I really hope they give us an option for whether or not we want to get that in depth with it.
See, I never knew anything about it because I didn't have any 15 experience.
It was a handful, for sure. I felt like...
Yeah, it was fun, but it was keeping everything irrigated was what was difficult about it.
I found like I was just spraying and throwing fertilizer. That's all I was doing constantly. For me, it got to be a bit much. But I know, like, Grizzly Bear Sims, he loved that mod.
So your AK says 1 stage of FERT, one application of herbicide, and 1 application of insecticide. As opposed to just 3 general stages.
Yeah.
You have to have 1 stage of each, or maybe stages in a specific order.
All by my lonesome.
Well, I think when Spectre and I get to the end of this run, we'll skip night, and then we'll just have an up and down pass, and then we'll be over there with you.
And
I'm about at the end of my run here.
What's that?
So I'm about at the end of my run here.
Yeah, I can see you over there. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm good. TW says he was trying to listen to some music to fall asleep, but he was listening to too good of songs that you have to sing along with.
Sounds like he's listening to the wrong radio station if he wants to go to sleep.
You need to listen to sounds of the ocean.
Well, and you can sing along to that?
No, I was saying that's what he needs to listen to.
Oh. So we got 1 pass here, then we'll be over.
10 foot. Pretty sure I'm still on the same GPS run as you guys too, so we should just be able to slide right in. Mark says, sleeping in the combine. Is that slave driver even going to bring you coffee? No.
The slave driver doesn't drink his own coffee, so he doesn't think about it for you poor schmuck workers. Get yourself a Yeti cooler and then have your coffee all hot all night long. A vegetable stand, baling corn stalks, using it as a substitute for straw for cows. I think this is the first time I used this big Bud overloader.
Oh.
I was going to use the Platinum overloader that Spectre likes so much, but I thought, no, let's use this big Brent one. All right, let's get tracks on it.
I don't have a horn. Oh, look, there it is. Tried to hit it earlier, it didn't work for me.
It's pretty quiet, I don't even hear it.
You're good.
So I think we might get this field finished off tonight.
That way.
This was a big one.
It's the biggest field on the map, 31.
That's what I think it is. I mean, this one's not too far off. Alright, I'm gonna come get you, Spectre. Philip says refinement of the logging system, a variety of tree species and growth appearances, defects, a market for hardwood logging, just general, you know, enhance the logging aspects.
Speaking of logging, I was just thinking about this on the map that I'm playing right now on the other server. It's Don Diego. There's a bunch of forest areas that are next to fields, and it doesn't seem right that you can just go into a forest and start cutting trees down without owning the field that's around it first. So maybe that's something they can improve on.
Or have to own the actual forested area.
Exactly.
Technically, if it's your land, you can cut whatever trees you want down.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that's not very realistic, though.
Yes, it is. If you own a farm and it's got a forestry area and your land goes into that forestry area, you can cut whatever trees down that you want.
Yeah, but that's not what's happening in the game.
Yeah, you could own only one field on the map, and yet you can cut any tree on the map that you want, right?
You could own no fields.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what Spectre's getting at is that you need to own the land near the forested area in order to cut it.
Either that, or you have to buy a license, like some maps have built in.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's a stupid idea, having to buy a forestry license when in real life you wouldn't have to go buy a forestry license.
Sure, you would. You've got cities in the U.S. that you can't cut down trees without taking a permit out.
Yeah, that's the US. I'm talking about other countries.
So yeah, like that new Ratlin Island or whatever, however you call it. You start with no fields, and just a hurlerman, and that's it. So the only way you get money is either mission work or driving over to the forest and cutting down trees. But who's to say that you have a right or have access to those trees in the forest technically? Now there has been some maps that have attempted to, and one at least that I know that has definitely done it is they've put in collisions and barriers at the forested areas where you have to buy the forest, and then once you buy the forest, you can drive into the area to cut trees. So that's a concept.
GTX says in most developed countries you cannot cut down trees in a natural forest. Most tree farms are planted this way. Cutting down forests sends a bad message.
I agree with you, but if you own a farm and there's a forestry area on your land, you should be allowed to cut down your forest. Yeah, I know it sends a bad message, but how you've got to think about it. People that are environmentalists and all this say, "Oh, cutting down trees are bad" and all this. But what they don't realise is your money is made by paper, your toilet paper is made by paper. What else? There's a lot of stuff that is made by paper. There's nothing in the world that have actually done anything to kind of say to try and say no to paper. Like, there's nothing out there that I've heard of that will replace paper at the present time.
True. There's other ways of making paper other than trees. But I think the premise that we're getting at is, unless you go on the premise that you own all the land that's not buyable fields on a map, then just walking up to a random pine tree on the map and cut it down would be the equivalent of just, pulling off the road and cutting down a tree and chopping it up and throwing it in your truck, versus actually having a tree that's sitting on your land, meaning it's between two fields you own, or with some respectable distance away from a field that you own.
Well, it's the same as
indicate it's on your own land.
It's the same as crop fields. You can't go harvest a crop field that you don't own. So make it so that you have to own that land that you're cutting trees on.
But that I see where you're coming from, Spectre, but that would turn off a lot of the farm sim community. Like, maybe it's something that GTX or one of the modern communities looking look at doing that sort of stuff as a script or something, because what is Giants' main market currently?
Kids.
Console, kids, me,
Yeah.
for one. Like, I'm a arcade player, but I do like some realism with what I want to do. Like, the main market is, that's why I think Season was a big flop, was everybody wanted it and YouTubers like it, but I think Season slows the game down too much, and that's what a lot of YouTubers saying is they would love to play with Seasons. Like, I think Farmer Klein, you've hit the nail on the head when you're doing 24-day cycles and people actually like watching your videos. But you gotta think, Giants' main market currently is kids and the console market. Until they find, and that's why I think, even though I don't agree with it, Cat and Crops might be a game to look out for, is to see how that game goes.
I'll get you, RB.
Oh,
But
I had
that's
it.
it. I've heard whispers that Seasons is going to be a dumbed down version of 19, where you can turn it off. Yeah. So GTX, I agree with you when you say there is no reason why you couldn't turn it off. But do you think kids and people will go through and turn it off unless they do it at the start of the game and not make it so you don't have to go into the options menu? Make it as, do you want to turn Seasons on? Do you want to turn the realism sections? Like, yeah, I agree with that. But would the console market be able to handle that sort of stuff?
I'm sure you know, if it's built in the game, it can be turned off, just like 3-stage fertilization and plowing can be turned off. It'll just be an option you turned off on your save game, or maybe it's burned into a difficulty level or anything. But you know,
By the way,
I think if with Seasons, I think if people are worried about it slowing the game play down, then I think maybe they're just playing with Seasons not incorrectly, but just not efficiently.
yeah.
You know, lots of people have the mindset for years to play on 1x speed because that's just what they do.
Yeah,
And 1x speed with Seasons, you're going to be twiddling your thumbs because you got, even with 3-day Seasons, you got 72 game hours before you get out of spring. And well, crank that puppy up to 5 and you got yourself like 6 game hours before you're out of spring.
Yeah.
Or if you're really crazy, pop that thing up there to 15 and you're done spring in 3 game hours. You could go through a whole year in one day.
Yeah. Farmer Klein, did you see Frank's message? How those guys determine if a Matt passes or get thrown back?
I have absolutely zero idea. And based on some of the maps that I've seen get thrown back, I don't think they're very consistent. Because you've got maps like Rubber Burners, it's been thrown back at least 3 times, right?
No, twice.
Twice. And we know it has basically 0 gameplay problems because it was played all to heck on Delta Bravo's channel and pretty much tested extensively from the gameplay level, but it's gotten kicked back a few times with what?
Map images. They wanted me to change the German description to their version. And what was the second thing it came back for? Brain fart. It was something simple that I changed in like 5 minutes.
So texture and description, and
Yeah.
was it something like trees were resized or something?
No, that wasn't it. Just a sec.
Oh, okay.
I gotta check it out. I'm curious now.
All right. So you've got things like that that really don't affect gameplay.
Yeah.
And then you got maps that are in the mod hub from
That should have been passed in the first place.
right from
Clip
certain
distances, that's what it
from
was.
certain modders that the pig area, the dirty pig area, is in the middle of a field somewhere. Nowhere's even close to the pig trough, or they can't plow a field because of something, or various other things. So there are maps in the mod hub that appear to have severe gameplay problems that somehow showed up and got released, and then there's maps that are getting kicked back 2, 3, and 4 times with not texture problems, but just we'd like you to we want textures with these in it, with this MIP maps thing, or like Oak Farm or whatever the Oxygen David map is. That got kicked back because they wanted him to optimize his textures yet again to make them even more optimized than they were originally, to improve performance when performance wasn't really a problem to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, has it been kicked back again, has it? Since that message, Farmer Klein.
What's that?
Was it kicked back again, or you haven't heard?
I think it was listed as testing as of like Thursday, and so it might be next week, I guess.
Yeah, we're thinking Oakville will come out next week sometime. We just don't know when.
GTX does make a valid point. The clip distances and textures are easier for them to find, and they can be a big deal if everything's wrong. Like if none of your images have clip distances that are correct in MIP maps, then you're going to have very poor performance.
And not to rag on the what's that little American map that showed up in the mod hub that has performance problems?
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, well, not to rag on him, that guy, but I mean his map was released in the mod hub, and Automokes, that's it, and has noticeable frame problems at certain sections of the map. And one of the fix is to go in and change the view distance or the clip distance on some grass foliage layer, because it was set to some ridiculously high level. Yeah. So that should have never got through testing. That should have got kicked back just like yours did.
Yeah.
It did get kicked back. It got kicked back the other day. It got kicked back
when it got released in the mod hub, because I did a map video on it.
No.
Where I talked about how the performance was awful.
Yeah, he was updating it, and then it showed up earlier this week in the mod list, because I can keep an eye on the list that guys do by the community manager, and I keep an eye on that, so I know what maps are coming out, and I know what mods are coming out. And yeah, but
I know the fix is testing, because he had uploaded a fix before they went to Christmas break. But the fact is that the broken version came out in the mod hub that had the texture problems, and it should have been checked. It should have been kicked back, just like Rubber Burners was kicked back, even though his didn't have those performance issues. It's just that validates my thought that they don't have a real strict testing policy, and it's almost like West Coast was supposedly kicked back once because the guy testing it didn't like the collisions on the hedges, and it's the exact same collisions that are in Coldborough Park. So it's like,
that's so stupid.
It's flip a coin what the guy who's testing it actually thinks or thinks should affect should be there, as opposed to a formal check policy.
Okay, this is a question for the for you, Rubber Burner, and anyone in your streams that want to answer this. Do you think Giant should release have a document so you know what they're actually testing for, And then have a testing document that says this is what all the testers have to test for.
Yes.
It would be a good way of getting consistent maps and consistent mods on the map. If ModHub is going to be the one-stop shop, which it's going to be, I reckon within probably FS19, by the time FS19, you won't see the likes of Modland and all that.
They do have a checklist of things that they look for, but they also have things that aren't on the checklist that sometimes they look for. And whether or not they're being consistent on that, nobody really knows. It doesn't seem like they are, but there is a checklist that, you know, you go through.
Yeah, but my point is they need to be consistent with map creators and map makers, and that's what I'm not going to say a map, but a map that was released late last year should never have been released on the mod hub. And I think you guys know which map I'm talking about. They need to become more professional when it comes to their testing regiment. And just because it's from a particular mod team or a particular modder, that shouldn't give them a golden pass. They should still have to go through stringent testing of the thing. Even though it might take a bit longer to see maps and mods out there, that's why I think they need to do for FS19 is have a strict testing policy which all maps have to go through, because you can see it now. A lot of mappers have said they are not bringing their maps forward from 17 up to 19, because a lot of the maps that we're seeing for 17 have been redone of FS15, FS13 maps. There hasn't been that many new maps out there. Like I know it's new to me and Farmer Klein because we haven't been in the community as long as some people.
Alright, so I think we'll finish this field off and then I'll go dump these beans and then we'll call it a night. I don't want to stay up too terrible late because I got a race to run tomorrow.
Is that NASCAR?
No, it's a road race, 24 hours of Daytona.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I racing.
Yeah, thankfully I'm only running 8 hours of it. But
oh, you're doing that in teams, are you?
Yep. Oh, you're missing
So are you doing
a wee
it?
little strip.
Are you doing it in a full 8-hour stint, or 4 hours and then 4 hours, or?
Three stints.
Okay.
I go on at 10 to 2 tomorrow morning, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow night, and 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. Sunday morning. Those are my shifts. So I got 8 hours. Another team guy's got 9 hours, and another guy's got 7. So a 2-hour shift and 2 3-hour shifts, I guess it is.
Nicely done.
Yes, that was the smoothest. The last pass where we pass each other, that was the smoothest one we've had.
Alright, let's see here. Where we're going to be next time. 30 and 31. 31 is beans. We want to unload and then
What's right
stage
on the
over to
side
31.
there? at 22. Is that? Oh, that's corn. Probably not ready yet. Huh?
No, look at me taking up the whole road, and then you all unhook your headers and pull them behind you.
You know, we're proper farmers. Respectable farmers.
I own the county.
So you can cut down any darn tree you want, right?
That's right, I can cut down every tree on this map.
I actually thought about driving through the ditch there, but nah.
Yeah, so did I, but I saw Farmer Klein went out, you know, like a normal person, and I said, well, I guess I'll try doing the same for once.
Once we get these staged, you can go have your jumping fun.
Yay!
I'm going to bed. Actually, I got some farming to do in another county.
Is it?
It's the county I own.
Is it Don Diego?
Yeah, it might be.
I thought you all were doing the World of Farming, or did that not work out?
I forget why we stopped or why we didn't do that one. There was a reason. I don't remember what it was though.
Okay. I saw the map was updated earlier this week.
I was looking at that, what is it, Pleasant Valley River?
Yeah.
Pleasant Valley River?
Yeah.
The one that's supposed to be like Mavericks on steroids?
Uh-huh.
That looks interesting.
I was trying to figure out how that was different than Pleasant Valley. I found the road into the field.
It's got a lot of the same production facilities on it, but the map is completely different.
Again, I thought about crossing the ditch, but
It looked to me like it was maybe made by the same people.
I think it is. And I think the Pleasant Valley people made gifts of the Caucasus.
Gift. Oh, I thought the gifts of Caucasus was Russian. The Pleasant Valley people, I don't think are Russian.
There's a lot of the same models though in the two maps, and that menu system is shared on both maps, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it was just used. I don't think it was necessarily. I don't think it was necessarily the same folks. I think it was just implemented.
Okay, maybe, but there's a lot of similarity between those maps. I can tell you that much.
Right, and I think a lot of that wacky production are like I think Pleasant Valley had that thing where you you have to actually fill the seeder with a specific seed and not just seed in general. Magic seed that becomes everything.
Yeah, and you have that on gifts too, right?
I don't know. I've never really looked at either.
I think you have that on the gifts map as well. The fact that you got to buy an industry, both maps. There's a lot of similarities between those two maps for it to be coincident to not being by the same author.
GTX says heck no, because Danjet took all the buildings and scripts when asked not to.
Oh, so there was some.
There you go.
Some less than above par, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Avoid course, Spectre. You're going to crash into Farmer Klein.
I don't think so.
He was coming down the opposite way. Did you not see him come down?
Gee, that's funny. I'm parked and so is Klein.
No, I'm bringing the overloader over.
I wasn't live. Sorry, Spectre.
No problem.
You were way back there. I don't know when. All right, that was. What is that?
I think he's talking about when I just pulled into the field. I'm right behind your harvester.
Oh, somebody's pushed my harvester in a ditch.
At the moment, on my screen. Oh no, it's Robert Werner. Robert Werner's in the ute, getting back to. I don't know where he is, but.
That works.
Don't do that.
He's jumping my truck.
No, he's throwing
At the cow farm.
He's throwing it in the water. He's throwing in the water.
That's what we do.
Farmer Klein.
That's what we do around here. Drive in the water. He's worked for 2 hours. He didn't get coffee overnight, so
I'm owed this.
that's his pay.
How do I turn off my hazards here?
GTX says very bad modder and a thief at that. Everything he uses is copy and paste. His latest map is 90% off Bergman. That's greasy.
Is this the guy that did the Pleasant Valley? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about J-Net, or however you pronounce it.
DageNet?
DageNet, yeah. And he's also doing GTX. I don't know if you're on YouTube much, but he's also doing a 16 times version of Pleasant Valley for 17.
Are you guys jumping?
I am.
I'm unloading the soybeans because I got a full trailer load of soybeans, so I'm going to unload that.
I'll so laugh, Robert Bruno, if he went off the bat completely.
They were trying hard the other day.
Want to go off the map completely?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody was smart and put borders up so I can't fly over top of them. Invisible borders.
But a question for you, GTX, if you're still there. Sometimes it's harder to. I'm asking you guys a question here, by the way. How, if a mapper has left the community, left Farmson, and you can't get in touch with him, what are you supposed to do? Like, there are some guys that have left the Farmson community and they might have done some quite good stuff for a previous game. What's your opinion on what to do in that situation?
I think that's really tricky. The whole getting in contact with people at all is really tricky. Personally, I try to get a hold of people as best that I can, and if I can't get a hold of somebody, then you have to leave credit where credit is due.
As somebody that's relatively new to the game, I find it very, very hard to keep track of who the original author is of anything out there these days, just because it's...
And then it's one thing to find out who the original author is, but then it's tricky to figure out, well, where did this originally come from?
Yeah, I got a crop sign mod that I'd really like to use, but I ain't going to use it until I can figure out where it came from, because I don't really want to reference it and say, well, it was uploaded by Guest. I don't know who Guest is.
Yeah.
That's my best guess as to where it originally came from, was Guest.
And that's why I try and get in touch with some guys to just ask them, is this okay if I use this out of this map? And that's how I met a lot of, like, that's how I met Stevie, that's how I met Maverick Farms. I just found them on Facebook and just messaged them.
I can't speak for the entire modding community, but I think most modders feel just give me credit and we're good. But there are some modders who definitely don't feel that way.
Like, you look at GTX and stuff and LS Mod Company's stuff. Like, you look at the bale storage, the wool storage, and the board storage, and in-company script. It's like, how you've got to sometimes put yourself in their foot, in their shoes, and say, how would I feel if this particular modder, if this particular person went in and stole my stuff? How would I feel?
Yeah.
And that's why I try and get in touch with the original author and say, is this okay if I borrow this for a map download? And 90% of the time they say, yes, sure, just put the right credits, my credits, and then the original creditor.
So isn't Pleasant Valley the map that's got the museum, that's got all the walk inside it, and it's got all the plaques? So I think that's kind of a neat idea, but
so Andy says it's okay to use people's work unless they ask people not to. Example, Hofbergman, Stoppenbach, The Gifts of Caucus, which is fair, but I would say at least, if nothing else, you need to give people the credit.
Yeah. But my point being is, if you can't get in touch with the original author, then what are you supposed to do? Not use that piece of equipment just because you can't find the original author?
Here's, and to some degree not that I disagree with it, but I don't think it's overly useful for the community. So there's a map that was in 15 that somebody converted with permission to 17, but all of their effort in converting it is going to go completely wasted because the map group is basically defunct. They're not in a farm sim anymore, but they also aren't going to grant permission to release the edit publicly. So all the effort that was put into that conversion is now for basically just private use because they can't put it out anywhere. But for all rights and purposes and everything, the original modding group is basically not so much defunct, but is completely left, as best I understand, the farm sim community as a whole. So they don't really have a stake in it currently, and it would have full attribution as to, this was this map from 15 made by this group that has been basically brought forward to 17. Yeah. So for me, at some point there should be, or there needs to be some indication of like not really project abandonment, but project where the project is no longer such that it's almost locked away, that it can be not public domain, not anything like that, not Creative Commons, but more of just it's released to the community for the community's use, acknowledging that, you know, rights should still be listed as to where it originally came from. But me as the author am no longer interested in the community as a whole, but basically locking away that piece of work for forever doesn't really benefit anybody.
Yeah, there's definitely some gray area.
I almost rolled off the map.
Trying to think of a good example, but I was looking at a mod the other day and I don't remember what it is, but it's, you go look up any, like if you go to Google and you Google the name of the mod and you click on the images, there's like 57 different versions on there. It's hard to figure out which was the original and who's, you know, everybody's taking the credit, everybody's stolen a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think prefabs is becoming a thing for map makers. Like, by rights, they do have original credit for that particular prefab, but if they're willing to say this is a prefab for map building, then I think you should still credit them as creating the prefab, but that should be enough for the particular map object maker.
Yeah, it just becomes a little bit more tricky when you grab stuff out of specific maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're grabbing it out of a specific map, you don't know necessarily, even though you may be able to find the correct credits, you don't know if it was stolen already out of Hothbergman or Stoppenbach or the Gifts of Caucus or something like that, right?
And that is even worse, that you're giving credit to somebody that stole original.
That's
mod.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, like the like those crop signs. So in my research, as best I can deduce, I think these crop signs were maybe a 15 mod.
Okay.
And in the credits is some modding team, some like German Dutch or some modding team. But if I search that modding team on Google, all I really get are Farm Sim 15 mods. I don't really get anything that's related to Farm Sim 17.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like, okay, well, Farm Sim, they're not necessarily active in Farm Sim 17. So there's also a text file in there that like alludes to some type of online mod conversion tool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of alluding that someone has taken this 15 mod, run it through this conversion tool, and then uploaded it. Not giving themselves credit. They still credit the original person, but I've uploaded it, and it's not the basically people that made the mod for 15 that have uploaded it. So in essence, it's not truly stolen, but it's also not I guess sanctioned by the original creators.
Well, it could, and it could have been sanctioned. You just didn't leave a note, so now you don't know.
Right, and when I Google the particular mod name, I turn up with all kinds of links from all kinds of places, and they all have the same general time frame on them as far as when the mods showed up. But the one over at modhub.us appears to have the oldest timestamp, kind of indicating that that's maybe its origination point. And if that's truly the case, and that one was uploaded by the user guest,
Thank you.
then, you know,
I think I know that guy.
yeah. So it's not uploaded by Thomas, who's the guy that uploads and steals everything. You know, over at Modland, it's not uploaded by John Deere 33. he's the same, the same boat. He doesn't do a single mod, but he uploads everything by everybody else. So it's like, well, I don't really want to use this, and say, well, it's over at modhub.us, because I don't feel like I should be.
And Andy just made a really good point. He said most of these issues would all be resolved by closing all the illegal sites and just having ModHub. Now my question is, Andy, how do you feel about sites like ModHoster and FSUK
and PCSG?
Yeah,
because, and I've got a second question to that, is if that was the case, like modhub.us, FS17 mods, and so on, where would you draw the line? Because they would have to all be tested by Giants, and it would make Giants' job a lot more, not harder, but would we see the quality of mods that we're currently seeing on the Mod Hub, like Culver Park Farm, West Coast, and those sorts of maps, if Giants were having to test, say, 100 mods, 200 mods a day plus? Because I think they are already struggling to test the mods that they are currently testing, because they don't really have a good idea on what makes a good mod with no errors.
Alright, let me know when you're out so I can...
Alright, I'm going to close my stream down. Thank you all for watching me. It's been fun. It's been an interesting stream, that's for sure. Much discussion. And until next time, y'all have a good day. See y'all.
Very healthy discussion, though.
True.
Yeah, but I don't know how you really shut the other ones down. Yeah. In such a way that you can't drop a mod into a folder. It has to come through a distribution channel that's somehow in game, or they're encoded and encrypted in such a way, like the DLCs, that you can't just drop in a mod. But at the same time, you as a developer need to be able to test your stuff and need to be able to work your stuff, so you have to have some type of a development testing platform.
Yeah.
Or your mods have to somehow be registered, and when they're registered, they get a hash, a digital hash associated with them. And then, the hash that you download is somehow referenced